I'm getting pretty sick and tired of these non-stop bipolar weekends under Pochettino. Yes, we celebrated an absolute high when it came to beating Manchester United in the fashion that we did. I mean, let's keep things serious. As a Chelsea fan, when have you ever seen us in your life come back to win a game within the final 90 seconds of football that deep into added time? Of course, you can celebrate that result as an anomaly, as its own separate thing, but you can't celebrate us for thinking that we turned a new leaf and things were going to start looking bright for us. Why? Because we don't know how to stop conceding goals. It's actually getting a bit embarrassing right now, and it just screams a team that has not developed or progressed at all. As I've said before, I'd love if we play like this at the start of the season, because at least the team can understand how to create chances, how to attack as a team, and then as the season progresses, you can slowly fine-tune weaknesses and make us more secure defensively. We did the absolute opposite when it came to that. And as I kept saying, I understand the sympathies of Pochettino with the injuries and stuff working against him, blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, is he making the best decisions week in, week out to get us ready to get these results? And I don't think he has. And I think sometimes as a manager, you can't always judge them when they're performing in their best aspects, when everything's working perfectly in their favour. A lot of times you have to judge managers behind how they react to things going against them. And I just feel like this season, I don't think Pochettino has been that guy at all. And sadly, was there any difference if he had kept Graham Potter last season? I probably don't think so whatsoever. And maybe with Graham Potter in charge, maybe there's a bit of like evolution in the football at least. But that's a hypothetical I'm not even trying to get into right now. What I'm trying to talk about is the reality. And I'm also leaving this season, as we're getting to the end now, thinking, did we even sign good enough players to begin with? Now, I'm not going to be sticking it on your Enzos and Caicedos. Personally, I feel like with Enzo in particular, because Pochettino wants this power ball football, which I respect, it means that a lot of times we're playing with no control in the game, absolute zero control in the game, and the game is bypassing our midfield players. You sign Enzo to affect the game on the ball, and then the game doesn't even fully maximize that and let him play his way. And I feel like, I'm sorry, if there was maybe 9 other managers, they're probably finding more effective ways to get the best out of some of our guys. So I still think there's some responsibility that goes on Pochettino for this. But at the same time, as I said earlier, I still question how good some of these players are that we bought. Disassi, is he better than Trevor Chalobah? I don't think so. Badia, sure, I'm going to have patience for him. I know that he's been injured. It hasn't helped him. No pre-season. You're going to be rusty when you're young. Normally, this is your write-off season. You come back next season. But again, considering that we had your guys that cost us nothing and many other players that we let go, the fact that we used to have Christensen and Rudiger, and I look back and I think, how stupid were we all to even have the audacity to be questioning their level and their quality when a lot of these guys we've signed aren't even nowhere near good enough to lace their boots. Let's be serious. You know what I mean? Guys were telling me before, Badia Shaw is better than Colwell. What nonsense were these guys smoking at the start of the season? I'll never understand. I'm looking at certain other players as well too. I like Caicedo. I think he's a project guy. I think there's something more to come from him. It's a shame that he signed for us for 150 million though. Listen, I myself constantly have to remind myself, ignore the price tag. But we're also fans. When you come for money like that, you're expecting a certain level of quality and ability and game effectiveness that he just isn't able to show consistently. Let's keep things real. You're looking at most of the attack. I like Madueke, but my God, the guy frustrates me a bit. He doesn't do enough individually like he has the talent to. And for all the qualities he has individually, it's his brain. Does he utilize them properly in game? I don't think so. And, when Cole Palmer, naturally, if he has a little bit of a slow day, which this guy, out of anyone this season, he is entitled to have, it really makes you think about the quality that we have throughout the squads and this team. Because I just think to myself, for all the guys we bought, are they even good enough to be like a top 4 team? Why are we telling ourselves that, at the start of the season, we could win the league and do whatever? It's based on ideas of what these guys are doing, based on ideas of how these guys performed at their previous clubs. But when you mix them all together and form a team from them, we're still not seeing no strong signs of evidence that these guys are ready. And then you think to yourself, shit, are they even strong enough to be competing aerially most times, to dominate the first tackles? Are we effective enough in key principles and areas? It just feels like we just have a lot of just good looking players on the ball And that's kind of it, to be honest with you. And, I'm praying that this is mainly due to Pochettino's coaching. It's been a sneaking thing I've been realizing the past 2 months, but I try not to think about it too much. But after every game like this, this sneaking suspicion grows and grows and grows. We look like kids. We look kind of silly. But one-dimensional. And when I mean one-dimensional, our one dimension is we only know how to play transitionally. We only know how to play for opportunities and to make them happen. When it comes to any other aspect and facet of this game, we are not ready. We cannot compete with intensity off the ball. We are too naive. We have no structure off the ball. We do not communicate. You don't see the basics. We're constantly making mistakes as a team because we play like individuals too much. We are not a unit. And it's a bit disappointing that Pochettino, after all this time here, nearly 10 months being our manager, has not instilled this pack unit mentality, which I thought he was here to do and what I thought he was trying to get done. I mean, the subs near the end, was the timing right with the pressure we had? I don't think so. Do the subs necessarily change the game for us? Are we adding on another midfield player to maybe show us up defensively off the ball? No. It's always these like for like replacements, like for like subs, like for like everything. And it just continues this thing I've seen under Pochettino where when we play football, we don't really play in a way to mitigate the opposition or to nullify them or to do anything smart tactically. If you guys notice that when we're playing against teams these days, it's literally about us hoping and praying that we can play our best football and that being enough to get results. I don't see anything tactically when it comes to nullifying the opposition to boost our chances of winning. And it's just like, I'm sorry, at this level, if you got ambitions to rise up the table, if you're not doing that, you deserve to be mid-table, and we deserve to be there. We are the definition of a mid-table team. When we are the mids in mid-table. We can't even get past our position. Every single time there's an opportunity to take advantage. Is this team good enough to build momentum? You get a result like what you got against Man United. How are you not coming here even sharper, even hungrier? Even more prepared and ready? To beat a team like Sheffield United and really use this as a platform now to boost yourself up and make something happen. We've shown a ridiculous inability to do any of this throughout the season. And it gets me questioning these man's mentality. It gets me questioning the manager as well too. I'm sick and tired of feeling so yo-yo and bipolar in terms of, do I feel a bit hopeful now? Or do I just accept the reality of the team that we are? And it's just... forever I've been in this state throughout the season, but I'm trying to understand stuff. I can sympathize, I can get it. But then you watch a game like this in real time, and then you're just left feeling, what the hell has actually been going on this season? What has been worked upon this season? What are we doing? What are the positives you can discuss in a game like this? Against Sheffield United, do you see any composure in the game? Do you see us controlling aspects of that? Are we doing enough to force back their wingbacks? Why do teams feel so confident pushing men forward against us? What does that say about how easy we are to play against? That even the team in the bottom, lowest position in the table, they come here with a chance thinking we can get something against these guys. If we keep putting men in the box, if we use our height and physicality, if we put them crosses inside the box as well too, if we put pressure on these guys, if we force them in areas they don't like to be in, we can get something here because this Chelsea team, they only can play one type of football, and that's all this little pretty on the ground stuff that doesn't really lead to enough threat or leads to us affecting the game as much. I feel like everything you see from us is quite mids. In terms of the build up today, just what has it really done? What do we do to really disrupt the opposition's defensive shape? Not enough whatsoever. And it just feels like we constantly engage in these end-to-end games because that's really the only best bet of even getting goals or securing anything. And I just think I get the sympathies of Pochettino and the subs, not the subs, the injuries, blah, blah, blah. I get that stuff. But come on, man. After all this time in charge, is this the best we can do? What are you going to say in the press conference that we haven't heard already? It's just getting a bit tiring. It's getting a bit boring. And I'm just feeling like, the lack of faith and confidence you feel around this club right now is a bit worrying. Because, again, this second season was supposed to be the kickoff season to really kickstart everything under Clear Lake and the new ownership. And we're literally where we are last season. After even cutting the squad, after selling all these guys, after signing more players, doing all this stuff. We are still in the same position we left off last season, and we're supposed to be in a better state right now. It is not saying much about this club, but I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be ranting a bit today. I'm sorry, it's a reaction to what I'm seeing after the game. I'm a human. I'm not here to be doing, non-stop, seeing everything from both sides. Sometimes there's only one side I see things from, and today it's not a very good side. But I guess for the small positive today, a shout out to Madueke. I think this kid has something in this game. I think there's more that can come from him. I think he is by far our most effective 1v1 dribbler, easily. And if he had the same amount of minutes that Madueke has got this season, I actually feel that Noni would have more to show from them. And I feel like he's a bit more threatening. I feel something more when Noni's on the ball driving out opponents. Obviously, he got the penalty for us for the equaliser against Man United today. The goal he scored, superb goal. The type of goal that I've still not really seen from Mudryk at all. Maybe not since pre-season against Brighton. But Noni's goal really reflects a player that is learning, that is open to learning, that puts in the work. I had to shout out his personal coach on Twitter today, because I've seen non-stop training grounds moments between them of Noni's striking and shooting technique, and he's literally demonstrated the stuff in these social media clips in game. So it really is a really positive note. It really tells you how much Noni is putting this work in when we don't see it. And all them times he was getting criticised for clubbing with his boys as if he's a young millionaire in London. Like, what do you think he's going to do? Let's be serious. We're all young ourselves at one point, yeah? I think it's a good reflection about what this guy's about, his focus, and what he wants to do. Because listen, when this guy left Spurs as a 16-year-old, when Pochettino was his manager, he left because he thought he could get first-team football at PSV. He went there, he achieved that. He became a big player for them before we signed him. So I actually have a lot of faith and hope around Noni. And he's the type of guy that I'm going to give a season or two towards, because I think he can really become something in the future. And this goal he scored today, listen, next game, he has to start, in my opinion. And I think I leave this game feeling like we are no closer to being this disciplined, strong team that works for each other. Because for every time I see us play, I'm seeing one player that stopped running, one player that's jogging back, one player that's overcommitted, that's putting his other teammate under pressure. And I just think to myself, there's no way in hell we are working upon defensive transitions, regroup, or anything defensive in training. Because I really don't see what we're doing in training that applies in game. The fact that even when we have the lead, we have an inability to maintain that. You'll see stupid things like counterattacks. We're still trying to get the third goal. There's committing 5-6 players forwards. Or set piece moments, you're forcing moments right there. 8 guys in the books, you're believing a 4v2 against us near the end. It's just this non-stop naivety. And I think how do you actually improve upon that? I like to think my manager's subs in his game management, he can control the aspects of bringing on certain players, taking off certain players to really introduce, listen, this is the mentality and focus for right now. But I don't see him doing that at all, to be honest with you. I don't see enough communication from this team at all. They really do not talk enough like they should be. I mean, compare the intensity you saw from United versus Liverpool earlier before we watched this game, right? That's the levels in terms of how they're making chances, how they're communicating, how they're running and moving as a pack. It's just, they're the type of foundational stuff that we haven't seen enough of. And, Poch just tried everything. We were a possession team at the start, then we became a transition team. And now I don't know what type of team we are. We're just an open team. An open team with no discipline, no tactical nous, no intelligence at times. And it's just getting a bit pathetic. What an embarrassing result today to not capitalize off that win last week. I mean, listen, the team can't do stuff like that. It's only natural, us as fans, we're going to be turning towards a manager. So listen, I've got nothing else to say. Enjoy your day. Cool.